Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fix, mother fluffers. Now then, Ryan Bowen.
Oh, yes.
Hey, mate, you're back in familiar territory. What's going on? This is like, we got the posters on the wall again. We got the Voda right over your shoulder in that skull cap. I love that skull cap.
Which one is it? Oh, this one.
Look at that, look.
Yeah, poor old Alex.
Seriously, right? And if you were called into Supermatch, you missed the golden age. How much would you have been required to get paid by World Armwrestling League if he said, "Oh yeah, part of the deal"? You go wear that.
Honestly, I'd do it tomorrow. If Steve Kaplan tells me to don something like that, I'm there.
Yeah, get the bandana on, mate. Get the skull cap on. I'm all over this thing. And from Latvia, we got Raimonds Liepins.
I'm in the fifth, man.
He's right. Mate, I love what you've done there. Show him the alternative background. Come on. I love this. Yeah.
Here he is. Mike Yellow style.
Or if you want to relax,
chill.
Very nice.
Just chill.
That's some high-tech stuff you got going on there. Seriously, I have no idea how you do that.
You need to be giving us some tuition on that. That's awesome. It really is good, isn't it? Because I could have so much fun with that. I really could.
Every time something different.
I'd be in bed with people's misses. Oh my God, there'd be all sorts coming out. I'd be just ringing up my mates who were having to work at night. And he's like, I've got a couple of mates that do like door work, security work and stuff like that in buildings. So, they're trying to make sure that nobody steals a load of big tractors or anything like that. And I'd be on the phone to the missus saying, seriously, send me over a picture of you in bed. And it's totally legit because I'd be superimposing myself sat on the end of his missus's bed. It's on. Guys, I'm gonna try and bring the tone back down to a serious note because we're going to start things with quite serious topics. And I really mean that. We've had some questions in. Yes, they've come spinning out of the backwoods, and I'm going to read these to you and throw you both under the bus. Okay, guys? This one's from That Arm Wrestling and Strength Channel. And they've put, I'd like to hear the trio's thoughts on the best at-home methods of rehab the day after a bruiser of a practice or competition, namely for elbow and shoulder rehab. This is up your street so much. You're king of ibuprofen, Ryan. This is what you do.
Yeah. I think Ray probably has a much more calculated, knowledgeable explanation to this one. I tend to chew a lot of ibuprofen, and for me, the day after being sore, I get back on the table straight away. That's my best rehab place. But you need to have good communication with your partner as to what on earth you're there to do. There's no side pressure, no one's pinning. I like to strap already cupped, so my hand isn't having to do too much, and we just gently lean back, sit there for a couple of minutes, increase the pressures, go to wherever that tender spots are. Actually put yourself where the tender spots are, not so much that it causes acute pain, but so much that it's just reminding your body, let's get some blood flow through these tendons, these connections that are hurting. And after 5-6 minutes doing that, the force that you can generate without pain is like doubled. And then 5 minutes later again, it's tripled. And then 15, 20 minutes in, you're almost back to 100% without any pain. That for me, my number one tip for rehab on that. Short and sweet.
So we'll move on to Ray's professional opinion, and he's looking panicked in a minute. But I'd just like to say at this point that the Supernatural Strength Channel doesn't in no way endorses anything that Ryan Bowen just said. I love the fact that your rehab lasted like 5 minutes.
Oh, after 20 minutes, you're 100% ready to go.
Yeah, literally. You just said, you really said that out loud, don't you?
Well, yeah, remember, my strength coach, Todd Hutchins, tells me that pain doesn't equal weakness. Weakness equals weakness. So, and interesting when we talk about the world of 100 matches.
Injuries equal injuries.
They do.
Definitely equal injuries.
No pain. They say no pain, no gain. It's also no pain, no pain. But in the world of 1 rep maxes, I've quickly discovered that I still can hit the same numbers. I still can, even when I feel beat up. I still can hit the same numbers.
Oh my God, how long are we into this? We've been on 5 minutes and it's already got... Listen, when I did the In the Presence of Greatness show the other day, right, I'm getting message after message, comment after comment, and a lot of them say things like, we've got 5 people on this call who are supposed to be experts in this field, and they're all on completely different pages, right?
Mm.
Here we go again, mother fluffers. Raymond Liepins, give us the professional stance.
Okay,
This may actually be endorsed.
Okay, professional stance would be the first, what Ryan is doing, how many years in arm wrestling? 7 years? Or
7, yeah.
So your tendons are pretty much there. I don't think you get more, you need to have really negative load on your, in tight position, someone opens you up to have really severe problems with your tendons, tendon breakdowns.
I love the tight position noise. Just throw that in one more time. Is that...
the tight position.
That feels tight.
But if you're a beginner, your tendons are not used to this. And if you say arm wrestle, then you get there. Next day your arms are trashed, and you go back and you do the same thing. This is how you get chronic or acute inflammation that causes pain. This is why we have so many people in community who they're all the time living in pain. And I'm like, you shouldn't be living in pain. Recovery stuff, I don't think tendons are that much different from muscles. They take longer time, but they need the same things. They need some load, You will, if you do, as much reps as possible bench press, or squats, or deadlifts, whatever. Next day you will try to do the same. You will be sore. You cannot do the same thing. Maybe can get something close to that, but there's no benefit in doing that because your tendons and muscles are destroyed. So you take lower load. The same thing would apply here. I know, Devon, and you have said this past for yourself, high reps and things like that, and it works. High reps works. It's shown really good promise on tendon recovery. But for me, for you, I don't think I need those high reps because it's not tendons that are hurting, it's more muscles. It's really more muscle. There's just tendon pain is very specific. When you do heavy loads of bench pressing, 1 rep, I know that pain where I feel it right where the attachment points for the chest is. But when I get into the groove, I don't feel it anymore. If I feel something, I feel it somewhere else where it's a muscle. Same goes for arm wrestling. You will feel when your elbow is effed up, but when it's somewhere in your forearm, that is not the case. But still, my suggestion is something light, but same, don't go super, 20, 50 reps. You can do 10, just under control. Longer time the muscle is under tension, the more blood will flow in. That would be my thing. But again, different things work for different people. Try different things. If you're 7 years into arm wrestling, you can get right back. I can arm wrestle every day with some manageable amount of pain. No problem there. But it's not the best way to recover. When we're talking about recovery, you still need to eat. You still need to take supplements, vitamins, everything you depleted from your bones, from your muscles. Also, you need sleep. Also, you need some, for me, it's a massage gun that is not here right now. I do massage therapy, things like that, stretching something. Just combination of that. Arm wrestling is not so different from any other sport, in my opinion. We just need to specify what we are working on. And if I did, 2 days ago, me and Giannis hit back pressure, different than we usually do. And we will feel it. We don't feel it in our tendons, we feel it in our muscle. We don't do that much static holds, we did static holds. Now, I feel right here in my brachialis muscle. That means I won't be doing brachialis today or maybe tomorrow, something different. But same way, I think longer you're into the sport, more it goes about muscles, less it is about tendons. Tendons are right there after 2-3 years, in my opinion. After that, you will just get, remember the pain when you first time arm wrestle. I will never forget the first time I arm wrestled super hard. I couldn't hold I went to the supermarket, I couldn't hold my bags for 2 weeks. But now it's like you can arm wrestle super hard and you feel it 2 days, tops, So, just where you are at your journey. Ryan is right there, so Ryan can do it. Is it the optimum way? Maybe for him. So.
Ray, I was 7 days a week, even when I was in extreme pain. That first 3 months of arm wrestling, when I was in extreme pain, I still did something every day. And I actually attribute that something every day to, I feel like it benefited me. I never got injured, so that might be luck. I don't know, but.
I have something. Okay, just best examples are the guys that don't get no pain. Giannis, as he told me, I don't think he got any pain for first 8 years. And he was constantly getting better and better. And Giannis wasn't super talented at the start. My guy Vlad, he has never had any pain up until last year. First time in training, he's like, I'm feeling something. Before that, you could kill him. And he never felt anything. Other guys who feeling like, he comes like my elbows hurt, they cannot reach that level. It's all about recovery and hitting another point, higher point. Recovery and going over. Recovery, going over.
My first year and a half, I was constantly in recovery. Once a week, I'd get drilled and opened up on a table with people stronger than me, and then every day of every week, I would spend hours. I owned a supplement store, and I just had bands. And so light bands, I was just light bands all day, every day.
That's really good.
Yeah. Because
light bands work.
The guys that are most successful, they don't feel that pain. They either they recover much faster than anyone else, and they get higher much, much faster. We were looking at Vlad, it was the benchmark for us because after first year, junior champion, and then slowly going up and no pain. And he stopped when he got first pain. And at that point he was like, oh, I'm human. So whenever someone says just push through, go hard, depends on where you are, if you're you will say Giannis just pushed through. He's like, I'm 38, man. I don't think I should be pushing through. I should be playing it smart and keeping it as close as possible to have.
I guess the only when I say push through, keep going, do it every day. It's always do it intelligently. Never anything that's causing acute pain. It's always gentle. And the reason I say that is because I see a lot of novices, early first year arm wrestlers saying that they have to take 2 weeks off before they do anything again. And it's like, no. Don't take 2 weeks off. Every day you can be doing something. You should be doing something.
I think really, I'm going to wade in with a few little pointers here as well. Number one, the light bands thing is really good. One of the things that you spoke about, Ryan, is obviously the table's great because you get to actually work the areas which you've injured. It's difficult to emulate that with weights. Bands make it a little better because you can freeform more with them. But and really light. We're talking comedy light. The other thing is, I'm very against the use of any kind of anti-inflammatories, ibuprofen, pain killers, pain numbing effects, because pain, in this instance, I firmly believe that pain is your friend. The extent of the pain allows you to see how much damage there is. And there's a point where you just beating yourself up. It's just a pointless exercise. If you really have done damage, there's a big difference between a little bit of atrophy or a little bit of, slight aches and pains and real damage. Now, one thing that I think is greatly underutilized in our sport is ice baths. Now, hey, joking aside.
No, I love them.
Fight sports, professional strongman, CrossFit, where you're pushing things hard, okay? I got into this only after I'd had my second joint rebuild. And it was shocking the difference it made to just the recovery, because obviously at that point when I was trying to build my arm back, when I first took the cry cuff off, my arm was like a toothpick. We're talking, I had muscle wastage. You know, like when you spoke about with Jordan, right? And it just everything had gone, just all wasted away. Yeah. So the issue with trying to recover then was very real, and you were always on that borderline between actually doing additional real damage. And I was a fool coming back after my original operation in the middle of 2002. I had my sights set on getting back for the Worlds in Illinois, because it was a bitter pill to swallow that I'd go there as reigning champion and not be able to compete. That sort of didn't sit right with me. If I could have my time back, I would never have done it, you know, but you stupid, or I'd just pulled a left or something, but I didn't. I wanted to do it, so I tried to rush myself back in three months and a week. Nutcase. But what I did learn after that second joint up in 2003 was the ice thing. And the benefit that we've got as arm wrestlers is that you don't need to have an ice bath. You just need just a sink, a baby bath. You know, like a baby bath. Get the baby bath concept, or just a large bucket where you can lie from your shoulder, from sort of here, lie everything in it. You can put it on a table at the side of you, and just literally put your arm in there. Phenomenal. The benefit that gives you. Anti-inflammatory, doesn't take away pain, still you've got the presence of that, but it does perform miracles in terms of getting it working again. Hot and cold is great as well for encouraging blood flow, and I found that's really, really beneficial, going from extreme cold to extreme hot and so on and so on. The other thing that I had a lot of benefit was magnets. That worked. So magnet bands and things like that were really, really good in terms of recovery. So my sort of answer on that is somewhere in between the two. I tend to be more around what Ray was saying from a very light band work thing, but I wouldn't be against, if you've got the right training partner, as Ryan said, and you've got that communication going so that there's no going past the elastic limit or putting pressure on over and above what you can tolerate without feeling pain, then yeah, you could work on the table, but it will be more like, almost like sparring, super light sparring, you know?
Yeah.
Because people have different levels of guys. Just don't know the best.
Yeah. I say that with the assumption that everyone has a great training partner. Yeah. I'm talking about Jordan. I do this with Jordan, and for both Jordan and I, it is phenomenal rehab. It feels amazing. That's both of us, it's our favorite way to rehab. It's just very, very comfortable.
Well, you both quite smooth, stylistic pullers.
Yeah. It feels like a dance.
For the guy you've got, if your training partner or the guys that you're working out with or the girls you're working out with are like, they're a bit wooden. And I don't mean that in a, then maybe that's not the best way. Because if you've got anybody who's pulling with a natural, and particularly new arm wrestlers who have that, the guy you go to the table with and straight away they're clamping that grip on, that's not it, guys.
Yeah, it's not them.
It's going light pressure, fluid movement, smooth movement, flowing movement is what you're looking for.
And you mentioned ice. I want to actually kind of segue into another thing about ice, and share a story that you commentated, Neil. My debut in WAL, as you know, John Brzezinski was my corner man. And after round one, John proceeded to grab the ice and put ice in my hand. And I said to John in change, I said, no, just on my forearm. And he said to me, no, trust me, you want it in your hand. I'd never done that before. I went on to win the match. The pump in my hand, like for me, I was always worried. And the reason, and I didn't explain to John on the spot, I just said, John's the GOAT. You trust the GOAT. He's your corner man, do what he says. And it worked out well. I was always fearful that ice reduced the blood flow, slowed everything down, and I always felt like that would make me less responsive or just not as ability to be strong. But I wanted to ask you guys, and have you seen that before, ice on the forearm or in the hand in between rounds?
I've seen it a great deal in kickboxing, Muay Thai.
In the hand?
Yeah. No, and everywhere, all parts of the body, where obviously you're looking to
oh yeah, a little bit numb.
Move quickly. but they'd ice down areas of the body, and there's dual benefits there. Obviously, they're doing that for it's different from arm wrestling. There's a degree of inflammation, there's a degree of control, there's a degree of not allowing things to swell and to. I think there are. The reality of the situation is, I don't think you should get drawn into doing too much of that in live matches. If I'm perfectly honest, I think this is more focusing on after the match, the effects of the match, the effects of training. In the match itself, that would be the first time that I've seen ice really utilised heavily during a super match. I've not seen that regularly. You know, it's quite new. What about you, Ray?
I'm just, I want to weigh in on the same things. Yeah, we at the gym, we basically build our sauna, and we have a small pool that I'm going basically every day. And not now for when all this started, Corona, because I don't want to risk to get anything, you know. Sometimes you get some sniffles from that. But, yeah, it's, for me, it's always 8 minutes of cold. Doesn't matter if there's sauna or not. And if it's sauna, then I mix it cold and hot, cold and hot. It's at least once a week. We do it. Everyone does it here in our gym. So we are big part on recovery. Recovery keeps you going, you know. You need to be fresh. And I wanted to ask one thing, because, Ryan, you're doing so much of 1-rep maxes. Like, and it's, for me, it's very interesting that you can still keep it up. And I'm like, I'm kind of, and you're still doing pretty good. The problem here is,
the numbers are actually going up.
The thing is, like, do you know how to basically reset your system at some point? Because we know from any strength sport that has done 1-rep maxes, especially when every time you go close to the failure, doesn't work in long term. They will destroy your central nervous system if you don't know the way out. Do you have a plan for that? Because I'm looking at your videos and I'm thinking, like, how long?
And for the users or for the viewers that aren't exactly what Ray's referring to, currently I'm doing a back pressure experiment where I'm doing 1-rep maxes every day. The same 8 vectors, spaced out each vector.
You just tell them where they can check this out at, Ryan. Give us the details.
You'd see it on Pound for Pound Arm Wrestling YouTube. There's a playlist in there called the back pressure experiment. And yeah, I plan to do 3 weeks of back pressure 1-rep maxes every day, every hour for 8 hours straight with a different vector, and the same 8 vectors every day. And so far, I've done 5 days of those training, and every vector has gone up, and significantly. Pain has been present each day, but it's hit a ceiling. The pain isn't continuing up, it's just remaining constant. So there is inflammation in my elbow, but despite that, numbers are consistent and actually improving. The reason I did this was because I identified my back pressure as my weak point in my game relative to my side pressure. And so I wanted to catch it up, and I've always been, I don't know, I've always responded well. My body's always responded well to just repeated activity. A lot of people flag it and say, dude, you're not following any sort of scientific principles here. But I listen to my body closely. If I feel inflammation to the point of where it's going to tear me down, I'll stop. But I'm just not feeling that. I remember back to me, it's like when I got a job as a brickies labourer for the first time in my life, the first 4 days were incredibly painful. Connective tissue, muscles, everything, so sore. But your boss doesn't let you have a day off or a week off. You go back and you work and you work and you work, and your body responds and it comes good to it. I had the same principles in the military. I did 7 years in the army,
but with that, you're not working to. This is I've heard so many people make that reference, and in all of those situations, what your body also does is find a way to compensate, and what it does is it increases efficiency in the movement, so you become accustomed to it and become more efficient with it. But you never work to a maximum, where you've got as Ray said, I think the big distinction you have to draw there is a true maximum, when your red line
I feel like this this experiment, I'm going to about 95%. I'm going to failure, but if you watch me train, it's not a firing up, psych up, put everything in failure. It's walk up, super casual, no big breathing and efforts, and just pull. And if I don't lift it, there's no second attempt. That's it. That's it. Yeah. So it's close to maximum, but it's not maximum.
The thing is, like, inflammation would be one. Like, if something hurts and it hurts so much that you cannot do it, that's the thing. The big part would be central nervous system. When this breaks down, it takes much, much longer to get it
Which is
down.
Everything.
Yeah.
That's the
And we have, like, okay, the comparison comes from weightlifting and powerlifting. And, of course, deadlift is much taking movement. You have, like, a lot of muscles working on than you're doing here. But for you, you're doing 8 different variations on this. So 8 times in a day, your body needs to come back. So just take care of that. Like, inflammation you can manage, but central nervous system, and you will feel it very simply. You will feel it when you just cannot get that tight. When you're not allowed to get it tight as tight as you want, that's the signal. For lifting, it means when the barbell gets heavy. Like the way that you usually, like, this never felt heavy, starts to get heavy. And that would be the problem for me. Because I know you take care of yourself, you take supplements, you like omega-3, I think you eat like a bucket full of them. But the central nervous system would be the problem. And we always keep, like, we forgetting it and we keep chasing it. And I have done this in previous years with bench pressing and everything. As soon as you lay back and you let sometimes just go away. Like, if you would ask Giannis, would he do 8 1-rep max or 1-rep max every day? He would never do it.
And the funny thing is, and I think what you might be heading towards, Ray, have you ever experienced that situation where you've ever broken something down or chased it hard to that extent where you've gone over and above what you do, and then you stop? Maybe for a little bit of an extended period, like a week or 2 weeks, you go back in and you get on the same exercise and it's like, woof, like a step change on where you ever were.
Supercompensation. That's called supercompensation.
And how that is so prominent.
Yeah.
It's some people, when you get to the plateau, when you plateau out on something, that's something that I've done to cartwheel myself up a level. I used to do it with the heavy hammers and things like that. You'd chase it hard for, like, really hard for a couple of sessions, maybe 2-3 sessions. Whereas I used to go heavy week, mid-week, light week, heavy week, mid-week, light week, because I've been following various programs or advice that said that. So I'd think, okay, screw that. I'd go more frequency, maybe 1 day rest in between, but go heavy as I could, 3 times, just heavy as hell, heavy as hell, heavy as hell. Then week off, 2 weeks off. I'd come back, maybe that 2 weeks up, and do the same exercise, rock strong, like I'd put on, clearly, just everything felt much easier. And
another thing with this one is adaptation. I'm sorry, Ryan. I watched those videos. I want to give you my advice. If you just, I'm
a sponge, man. I'm a sponge. I'm always learning.
Adaptation. Well, we want adaptation with everything we do, but we don't want too much of it. Like the easiest example is running. You want to run and you want to hit, 5-minute kilometer. And you hit that 5-minute kilometer 1 day, 2 day, 3, 4, 5, and at some point you just cannot get faster because you're adapted to that. You need to change it. So the easiest way to get out from adaptation is, again, taking some time off. Because your body, even though it's hard, it will get adapted to these movements. Okay, you're doing 8 of them. So but it's usually longer. It takes 2 weeks or something. Like, okay, we need to save energy for the last one, or we know what you're going to do, and that's where sometimes the plateau is. So you take that away, switch some things up. This is why when I'm training, we change the program like every week. Like almost every week you will have 30% new exercise. We'll change what we do before and after and things like that.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that at all, and I can feel that there will be. I feel like there's an efficiency curve going up that's going to plateau, and adaptation you'll kick in whatever, and I'm going to be stuck. That's okay for me. Like this is all an experiment. The whole journey is an experiment. I listen closely to my numbers. I feel what's going on. But like honestly, one point that I feel I've already taken away is if I'm having a super match and I decide that back pressure is the thing that I need to be most critically winning in my match, this to me feels like a great way to dramatically be prepared to hit your best numbers every time for that particular match. Like this, I want that efficiency spike. I mean, it's my force has gone up on my back pressure on every vector. That if I had a ready to go with BLM today, I would be really confident that my back pressure is going to be hitting solid numbers, by my standards. So I like it for the mental, confirmation that it gives me. You know what I mean?
I'm just saying this so you have a way out. Just think about
I'm like this with my training. Yeah. I roll with everything. I change my vectors all the time. Because
the biggest opponent for all of us is our ego, especially in training. When you feel great, and sometimes you shouldn't do those numbers that you want to do. For me at least. Like there's so many times, and when I'm training with Giannis, it's easier because none of us will do those numbers. We are not in competition. When we're like, let's do 70%. Okay.
Mate, I'm heading into rant mode any second. I'm like, I'm
Go.
Okay, I'm off. Serious point. Okay. Right. I'm just going to say this. So get your ears ready, guys. Here we go. So many guys on the internet now, particularly new guys, right? Everybody chasing that massive number. I can do 60 kilos here. I can do 70 kilos here. All this stuff. That's all cool. As long as you are in a situation where when you're doing this, there's some resemblance to something that looks remotely like an arm wrestling match. Okay?
Transfer to the table.
Yeah. If you're in a situation where when you're doing this, you are so horribly bent out of shape that you've got no A, B, or C defensive line, trust me, you are kidding yourself. Because a good arm wrestler will whip you like he is your daddy if you do that.
He doesn't care about those numbers.
Mate, you get to a situation where you're all out here and your body's gone everywhere. I'll tell you something for nothing. Where you've not got any defense, at that point where you've sold it all in one direction, is in any other direction. And if somebody goes, you're done, you're gone, it's over, you'd be much better. Here's an experiment for you to all to try at home. Try this one at home, kids. It's really good. This is really good. You know the thing you put on the other week, Ryan, where you had the Rolling Thunder style handle?
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Get yourself like 70% of what you can lift. If that feels too heavy, 50% of what you can lift in any classic form, okay? On a table, elbow on a table onto a cable pulley system, okay? And just set into it, okay, with the weight in different places. So you can go high attachment, middle, low, whatever. Hold it in there, okay, and just sit in and see how long you can make it before that thing goes down. Right? Staying in arm wrestling forms. And I'm talking about pure arm wrestling forms. So you're actually wrestling in different positions. You can change position and then come back in. You can come out, you can come back in, you can come high, you can come back. But keeping your fundamentals intact, keeping your hand and wrist intact. So what I mean by that is you never go past flat. You can go flat, but you're never breaking back or breaking, you're keeping everything intact. And seriously, say how long, put it up there, say how long you could stay in that position with, first of all, 50% of your weight, 70% of your weight. Don't work for the 100 all the time. And start to get to a situation where you can handle higher weights with really good form. And I guarantee you guys, you will be stronger than the guy that can do the 1 rep max in some ugly as hell form. Don't get this twisted. I'm not talking about form you can pull and it's really clean and it's really nice and it's somewhere where if you are stopped in that position, you can transition and you can go into a different place. That's a different thing. It's not what we're talking about. I'm talking about this pursuit online of people saying, I've got my back pressure now to a situation where it's at 70 kilos. And then you see this same guy show up at a tournament and he's getting beat by mid-range pullers. Because let me tell you, 70 kilos, 60 kilos. There was a guy, shall remain nameless, that I saw the other day, and he was doing 70 kilos back pressure in that situation. All out of shape. That same dude can't pull the skin off a rice pudding. You see him go to a tournament and he can't arm wrestle right. And I actually feel sorry for people like that. This isn't a criticism, it's to try and help them. If it can't transition onto the table, it's wasted endeavour. Trust me, try the one I was talking about with either a strap. If you're looking to work your more top rolling forms, just strap up in a pronation and hang on there. Same on a handle, any kind of handle you want, doesn't matter which variant. But just see how long you can keep that thing from pulling through you where you're in a sweet form, in a good form. Learn to, and that will bring in all your body in an effective, practical manner. Rant over.
Have you been working out? That wrist looks so thick.
You know what, mate? No, I'm going to be honest with you. A few weeks ago, it might be like 3 weeks ago.
You wanked off a little bit.
Yeah, that's a lot of weight right there. I need to put a belt on. Joking aside, if that laughing you can hear, it's my wife. So, yeah, joking aside, I went out into the gym and I went on the Mazurenka side press machine just playing around. And I ain't been back in the gym since, like, at all. I haven't done anything. I keep saying to myself, I will, but I've been on here all the time, guys. Any night, any time I get in the evenings, and I've been doing shows. I've been doing shows all the time.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
I'm just not. I went on a thing last night with John on Uncle John's. If you haven't seen that, guys, get yourself over to Uncle John's arm wrestling channel as well. John's a top guy, does great stuff. But like these two guys, Ray, give us your channel, mate. You haven't plugged it. Give us your channel.
Where's Farm Wrestling? Where's Farm?
Get over to The Voice. Get over to Pound for Pound. Get over to Uncle John's. Great channels, a lot of content going out there. Get over to Crossfire. Get over to everywhere and check this stuff out. What I would say is, they asked me last night, are we ever going to see you return to arm wrestling? Are we ever going to be focused and committed on it? And I had to say, honestly, probably not. Just because right now I don't want it. You know what I mean? The competition doesn't actually matter to me. I still arm wrestle, but I'm not like Ryan, passionate about chasing improvement in arm wrestling. I'm just not there right now. What I am passionate about is making arm wrestling big. So there's thousands of people tuning in to watch guys like you who are chasing that and get the buzz around the sport. That's where I feel like I'm best suited at the moment. My boys are getting into arm wrestling though. They're only babies, but they're really keen on arm wrestling. So if they ever get into it, if they come into it properly and they want to do, watch your ass. Because then, I'll be old and screwed, but I'll be back on it. But I will say this to Paul Maiden and to Tom Holland who'll be watching this, and let me tell you, I love both of these guys, but will you mother fluffers stop putting losses on my record that didn't happen? The other day I was listening to a little show and Paul Maiden says, Alex Zubko, he even beat Neil at one. No, he didn't. Alex Zubko's never beat me in his life. You get hold of Alex, show me that. He never beat me. In his life, he's never beat me. Fact. And also, Craig Sanders doesn't have more British title wins than me. That's British title wins than anybody. That's also a fact. Rant over.
Fake news from Paul Maiden, eh?
Fake news. Now I'm getting on to Tom Holland. Tom Holland got asked the question, can Stoica Bogdan beat Neil Pickle? Tom answers, yeah. And I'm like, yeah. And then he's like, yeah, easy. And I'm like, real mother? You want that? Because I'll tell you what, talk about man with nothing to lose. If Stoica didn't slap me about easy, and you know what? Yeah. I don't think anybody runs through me easy.
No, not way.
No. Trust me, I'll make you sweat. And if you don't believe me, come get some.
But you're not wrestling anymore. I'm out. Like 2 minutes ago, I'm out. I will never come back. Maybe later. Now, come back.
Now he's called out. He's literally just called out everyone. Anyone that wants it.
That was classic Travis move. Travis.
I meant that, not trained. He won't. I'll lose the match. I've no doubt. I can't beat him. He's training his ass off. He's young. He's in his peak. He's in his prime. Problem is, still make him sweat.
Yeah, no, I think you're a hard man not to back in many matches. Yeah, I wouldn't like to bet against you, to be honest. So.
Right now, mate, the only thing I have got in my favour is I haven't forgotten what I'm doing up there. And I'll be clunky and I'll be bumpy and I'm not smooth and I'm not fast anymore and all these things. But I got little bits in there. God forbid if I start remembering some as our match goes on. Because if I get a little bite on your ass, you losing in front of all those people to like a fat old man that ain't training anymore, oh my God. Leave the room, please. Anyway, that was that. I expect that to set some little ripples going on the UK and Ireland scene. Men everywhere.
Yeah, surely not as many ripples as Travis Bajan is sending out on these shows that we're seeing. He's bullying everyone.
Mate, Travis, love or hate Travis. Travis shows up ready.
Oh yeah. He's
serious.
He is. He's serious. I actually love the debate that you had on your in the presence of greatness. Where
oh my God, you can't start this at 41 minutes, Ryan. You know what this calls for, guys, don't you? Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up this week's episode here at The Fix. Join us in what for us will be at least 10 seconds, but for everybody else might be a week. We're going to have to do some like screen magic here, Ray, and you have to change that background. You need to. Oh, he's gone for it. Look at the size of his arms, bigger than his head.
It's not bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you do like what we do, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. Get yourself over to Voice of Arm Wrestling. Get yourself over to Pound for Pound. Get yourself over to Uncle John's. Oh, there it is, right there. That's what the ladies came to see. Oh, Lizzie Sparkles. And ladies and gents, until that time, take it easy, peeps.